Hello, 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 hello. I'm here right now to do my March wrap up and my April TBR. Nothing is as shameful as the number of books I read in March, and that was 2. I read 2 books. I read parts of other books as well. I was reading, but I was in a total slump. And you know what? It could have been worse. I could have read 0. First book I read was The Diviners by Libba Bray. This one takes place in the 1920s, and it's about a girl named Evie. She's always getting into trouble, so she is sent away to live with her uncle in New York City. Her uncle ends up helping the police with a bunch of murders that just happened. Evie has supernatural power that she tries to keep a secret. I really did not like her character at the beginning of the book. I thought I was gonna hate her and I thought I was gonna hate this book, but she grew on me and I ended up loving her so much, and the characters in this book were just so well developed, and they're part of the reason I love this book so much. Evie is one of my favorite characters that I've read. She reminds me of a mix between Annie and Roxy Hart from the musical Chicago, and a little bit of Hannah from Pretty Little Liars. This is a very thick book. It's 578 pages. I was never bored at all. It was very creepy and scary, and the mystery just kept me turning the pages, and it was very easy to read. I really enjoyed the setting of New York City in the 1920s. I enjoyed listening to the terms they use, like their slang. I feel like there's definitely going to be a sequel to this because I feel like there's a lot more that is going to happen. So I gave this 5 stars. I really loved Libba Bray's writing, and so I'm going to be reading some of her other books too. And the second book I read was Divergent. I read it on my iPad because they had a really good deal on iBooks, and I wanted to read it before the movie came out, and then I went and saw the movie, and the movie was pretty good. It was okay. It wasn't like my favorite thing ever. I think the actors did really well. I gave Divergent about 4 or 5 stars. I started reading it and I really didn't like it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this book, but then it got a little better, and then like by page 189 I was like, okay, I really want to know what happens. And I also kind of fell in love with the characters. I really liked 4. I had like a little crush on him. You guys probably all know what Divergent is about anyways. Next book I read halfway through. It was our March pick for my book club, and it is The Devil in the White City by Erik Larsen. This one is a true story. It just follows an architect who is helping to build the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, and it's also about a serial killer named H.H. Holmes, who's also in the area at the time, and he actually builds a hotel. He likes to kill women, and he builds this hotel specifically for those purposes. He makes a place where he can torture them and kill them, and it is quite horrifying. I'm really enjoying this book. I have a hard time reading the parts about the architecture and the building of the World's Fair. Sometimes they're a bit slow and I fall asleep. It's just a lot to continually read and not get bored. And there's a lot of really cool facts in here that I've learned. The Ferris wheel was invented for the World's Fair, and it was made to outdo France because they did the World's Fair before Chicago, and it was made to kind of be better than the Eiffel Tower. And I'm really glad I'm reading it. It's just really dense and really hard to get through. This next book I'm going to add to my March read list, and I'm probably going to put it in my April because I read it like the very end of March and the beginning of April. I finished it in April. It is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. The other night I couldn't find something to read, and I started this, and this one just like drew me in. This one is about a girl who was in an accident with 3 of her friends, and she wakes up in the hospital with no memory of what happened. She's struggling with PTSD. She's kind of seeing things, and she's having a really hard time in her town, so they decide to move to Florida, and she meets this boy named Noah who is really kind of like intrigued by her and wants to know her really bad, and he keeps going and kind of following her around and harassing her, and you find out why later. But she continues to struggle with the PTSD. She sees things that aren't there. The thing I really liked about this book is that the narrator is so unreliable, and the scenes you're reading, you don't know if they really happened or if she is just imagining it. You're reading this book and it's all from her point of view. She's really confused. As a reader, you're just as confused, and you want to know what's wrong with her just as much as she does, and I really love that. It has a lot of twists in it, and there's a big twist at the end. I don't like telling people there's twists because then I'm afraid they'll guess them, because I always do. I didn't guess this one, and I really enjoyed it. There's a part in the middle that I got a little bored with, but other than that, I was like, just could not get this book finished fast enough, and the end just gets all crazy. It's a really easy read. I give this one 4 to 5 stars. Okay, now for my April TBR. I'm definitely going to be finishing The Devil in the White City this month, and I had to go to the library right away and check out The Evolution of Mara Dyer, so I'm going to be reading that too. I'm already on the first chapter. I just started Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, and I'm already this far. This one is about a man who finds a girl bleeding in the street and he saves her, and then a bunch of really weird stuff starts happening to him. The next one I will be reading this month is Beautiful Ruins by Jess Walter, and this is the April pick for my online book club. My friend Tess chose it. I probably wouldn't have picked this up by myself, but it looks really good. It takes place in Italy in the 1960s. There's something about a movie star in there, but it just seems like a really good book for spring and summer. And the next book I'm really excited about is Stardust by guess Neil Gaiman. Yeah, I'm a little obsessed with him. And I'm going to be reading this with Maureen. And it's my first read along ever, so I'm so excited. I'm sure you're already subscribed to Maureen, but if you're not, you really should be because she's adorable and she's funny. I'll leave a link below. Check out her channel. If I get around to it, I want to read Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi, because everybody's talking about these books, and then also Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. It sucks when everyone's talking about something and you don't know anything about it, so I'm planning on reading these. So guys, let me know what you guys are going to be reading for the month of April, and let me know if you've read any of these books that I talked about today. Don't give me spoilers though. Naughty, naughty. And this was my first wrap up in TBR, so I'm going to plan on continuing to do these every month. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye! I think I broke my camera. I feel like I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? What am I forgetting?